Hello and welcome to the Behind the Beat podcast with me, Katie Russell from Planet Drum Music School in London. Join us as we talk to special guests and industry professionals about all things music. Let's get started. Hello and welcome to the Behind the Beat podcast with me, Katie Russell from the Planet Drum Music School in London. Today we are joined by Mirko Schmitt, who has he's the founder of the Planet Drum in Berlin. So I'm going to let him take the floor. So Mirko, tell us a little bit about yourself and how you first got into drumming to start with.
Okay, yeah. How did I get first into drumming? Well, I'm born in West Germany, and then basically with the age of 3, I got my first drum kit.
Wow, young.
And my father brought it from Italy, like a plastic kit, you know. And then yeah, he played a bit of drums. He used to play drums in the old days.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, in the old days, and but he didn't really take it far. But he was playing piano, then the classical stuff. So he taught me the first rhythm, and I remember I was in the mood for Glenn Miller. And then that time I didn't have a hi-hat. I was just a snare drum and tom-tom, like one of these plastic things. And with the age of 5, I got my first real like junior kit with a real little hi-hat, a snare drum, a tom-tom, one cymbal attached on the bass drum, and a bass drum. And then he showed me the same rhythm again, but with the hi-hat. And I could not get that four-way independent stuff. And then, you know, I was like saying, oh, I will never get this. And my mother said, oh, you drive this kid crazy, you know? Stuff like this. So then I kind of like gave up. And then my father was really upset. Oh, he's never going to get drunk with this guy. And I said, I want to prove that point. And I took some old records. I was still not in school. I was 5. Couldn't read, but I got his old records collection, whatever. And I remember the songs, kind of stuff like tango, like all this kind of like standard shit. And then I put it down and I tried to really get the rhythms, you know. And I wanted to really surprise him one day. I must have been 6-7 months down the road. And then I called him up, Papa, come in, you know, and I want to show you something. I set up the drums and I was playing 2-3 rhythms for him. He was really amazed. That was the time when I really thought the happiness in my father's face that made me really believe, yes, I can be a drummer one day.
Yeah.
So that's how it first.
Because you started really early.
I started really early, yeah. I was always.
And then you had lessons afterwards?
Yeah, with the age of 10. And that was horrible. That's probably when I decided I will never teach like this, the typical classical way. It was the timpani player from the state orchestra in Saarbrücken. And he never played, I never saw him playing the drums. He was like playing a pad next to the drums. It was like in a music, like in a public school, in the really bad room, like the last room in the basement. They had an old rusty drum kit. When I saw the drum kit, I was already, my face went like this. Oh shit, okay. Well, okay, it's not about the drums. I gotta learn it, but whatever. And then he showed me some parallels on the pad and I had to do it on the drums. And one day I said, can you show me how this sounds on the drums? And he said, no, I'm a timpani player. I'm not a drummer. You are the drummer. I never started playing the drums in like 1 year and then I quit. I said, okay.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
Oh
Yeah.
So I decided I never want to, if I ever become a drum teacher, I will never teach like this.
oh.
And then you changed teacher?
Yeah, but that was later. I was always playing. I started playing my first band when I was 12. And then I was
so
like
young.
really picking it up by ear, you know. And then when I was 17, 18, I decided to study drums proper. I always wanted to become a drummer. Obviously in school, when they asked me as a little child, what do you want to be? A drummer? I said, okay, next. You know? And they never really took me serious with it. But then when I was 17, 18, I decided I really want to learn proper. And I went to modern music school. There was a guy, Hans-Peter Becker in Germany. He started a lot of drum schools later on. He was the first guy who went to the PIT in Los Angeles that time. And he kind of like prepared me to go to that school. Then I had to sell it to my parents. My father wasn't really amazed about the idea because he had other plans with me. So he had a little business for marble and I learned sculpture in his business. And he wanted me to take over his business one day, which thanks God I didn't do. And I had to really try to get my way out of that. And I guess I needed that fight as well at that time, you know, to really prove myself. That's really what I want to do. I want to become a drummer, you know. that helped me really to know how much I wanted it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how did you guys meet?
Wait, can I just ask a question
Oh,
before
yeah.
that? Did you went to the PIT, right?
Yeah.
That's what year did you go?
91.
91. Yeah. So how was it?
Good time. Best time of my life. I was really, when I really saw people teaching, like all these cracks like Ralph Humphrey, I used to play with Frank Zappa, Joe Porcaro, father from Jeff, used to play with Toto, all these amazing teachers, being really good people, you know, not being so arrogant, not like the European way academic, you know, I'm the prof and, you know, you have to, I'm right and you're wrong. You know? It's a different way of teaching. It's more like a team. And that's when I really thought, again, if I ever going to do a school, it has to be very life orientated. It has to be, you know, you learn from each other. You know, you learn from the other students as much as you learn from the teacher, maybe even more sometimes. You know, that's how good it is to be in a different world, which America was or probably still is today. They really got the show business idea, and it's very praxis orientated, and there's a lot of soul coming from their teaching, you know.
Yeah, so the PIT, Katie, is the big school in Los Angeles.
Okay.
Big music school. I think they started in the late 70s, right, or something like that. Because one of my friends went in 1982, so that's a long time ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they started in the 80s. Eric, our friend Eric Thomas, he was there even before. He was there in 86. He was studying with Hans-Peter Becker, who later became my teacher.
Okay.
In Saarbrücken, my old hometown where I'm born or grew up, and yeah, so I think it started in the 80s. It became really big. I mean, a lot of people from Germany, like students, they always wanted to go to that school because obviously you paid already a lot of money to go to study in Holland, which has very good schools too. For drumming, for music, but for the same kind of amount you could go to study in America. And so a lot of people said, okay, I might as well go over there and get all this influx. And
then you came back to England, right?
Then I went back to Germany first for 6 months, did a bit of work with the like local bands or little session what was around in radio stuff. And then I decided I decided already in the States I wanted to go to England because it was the only place at that time to really catch up on good music, you know, and London was the place, I guess, in Europe. It still kind of is for music. And yeah, then I decided, well, I didn't move to London because I found London very big that time. I moved to Manchester first, and I played in a local band in Manchester, and we entered a big competition, the Yama Music Quest in Japan, and we actually went over playing in the Barrowlands in Glasgow, the final heat for England, and then they've chosen us to go represent England in Japan. And then I played with them in Japan. We became second after a Japanese band in the World Music Quest. And when we got back, our singer got signed, but the rest of the band not. So they basically dropped. Well, basically they just signed the singer. Howard New, he actually died a couple of years ago on a tragic car accident. Very good singer. They put him together with Cher to write music and stuff like this. And I think he had a couple of hits. And yeah, so that was the time when I decided, when I came back from Japan, we were all on a high, and then Howard rang us up and said, look, I need to take this chance. I need to go with Warner Brothers. And yeah, so basically went for the deal, and I decided to go to London and try my luck into the session music business. And that's how we got to meet as well, Alan and me. And started teaching, writing a program, and started teaching in Trundle Street.
Yeah, so that was 1994, something like that, 95, 94, 95, 96.
Yeah.
Because I had that studio in London Bridge, right? And then when I had to go on tour, and Mirko called me because he saw an advert in the Loot, I think, or something like that, and he said, is that available? And then he took it. And then when I came back, we met up again, and we thought maybe we can do something together.
Absolutely.
That's how it started. Yeah. So we started teaching together around '96.
And this was in London Bridge.
London, yeah, in Borough, yeah.
That's where it all started. The
In
good
an
old studio.
old warehouse kind of place with a big. Yeah, I mean, this guy Michael had a big, he had a studio from, I think, since the late '70s or something like that in a nice place, quite big, and we had a few rooms. We had about 4 rooms at some stage. And we started, teaching together, and it was good. We were doing workshops, and we got to we got the experience, I think, of running teaching practice. Really.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a great time. There was also a great vibe in that particular. The main room we had was really nice, soundproofed. I remember, and we used to have a lot of. I mean, that time Alain had his projects, I had my projects, so everybody did his own thing. It was a good thing. Then one of us always, if possible, needed to be there to teach. That was the idea. That's how it all started. Great vibe there, and I went back. I guess you go back there sometimes.
No,
it's changed completely the area. So I was shocked. I think I went back to England 8 years ago. It's Katie and Noah, my family, and seeing the changes. The area where I then last lived was Canary Wharf, how it changed completely from the 90s. And then seeing, obviously, going back to Trundle Street and the old neighborhood where we used to teach, and how it's completely different now, I know. So,
and then we moved. Yeah, it's changed a lot. And we moved to Camden in 2004. And you didn't really teach in Camden. You kind of left to Germany even, right?
That's right. Went back to Germany. Left a bit before, and then I went into London 2 weeks. You were teaching 2 weeks. I was then his name, our student, now teacher, you play drum.
Louis,
right? Yeah. Louis Pocock. Louis, greetings going out to Louis if you hear this. And Louis was, he was then teaching as well, 2 weeks. So basically I could spend 4 weeks in Berlin trying to start Planet Drum in Berlin. And so
when you went back to Germany, it was always the aim to sort of start up the school in Berlin.
Yeah. It was always the idea also in England that I have to do both things, like teaching and, I want to do both things, teaching and playing, because I think, there's some people who really think when they teach, they get worse, but that's not true. I think teaching really keeps you.
Yeah, I believe so. I think so.
Yeah.
I think so. It makes you practice. Yeah. Like, if you got to keep up with kids doing, the high grades, like, you got to work on the stuff,
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I think it's a good thing. So that's the same thing that when I went to Berlin, obviously. And then, we always had the idea of exchanging much more than we actually do, but maybe we can still do this, Alain, between London and Berlin, 2 great places. And there's a lot of things I still think we can do together in the future. But it's a good thing that we keep on both sides to keep that alive, the spirit,
Yeah. So you've got, I saw on your website, you've got a few studios.
We got 5 studios in Berlin,
right.
seven studio rooms, like teaching rooms. Some of them we renting
in
out.
In each one, or just sort of over?
No, altogether. I think we got 7 studios. So in 2 studios, we got 2 rooms. We have actually 3 rooms. So we're renting one out to a band as a fallback in case we need a room. If any other studios we get kicked out. It's not easy, I mean, it's becoming like London now. It's very hard to get premises, and I was lucky that I moved in 2002, and there was still more space. But now it's tied up. It's very hard to get spaces. If you call up and say your drummer or your drum school, your music school, I always call and say we are music school. And then they ask, okay, what instruments? We're drums. Oh no, you can't play drums. Yeah, but we play also with E-drums. If the worst comes to the worst, we have 2 studios. They're above a office, and we put a lot of stuff underneath, so we kind of like soundproofing it quite a lot. And but you can't convince these people, they just go no. It's very hard for drummers, obviously.
I know.
Everywhere.
I know it's a bit of a nightmare. I was looking for years, before we found the place in Islington. Yeah.
a very nice
Luck.
place
You
there.
need to be lucky as well. Yeah.
Yeah, it's very, very hard to keep the places. Now we got in some of the studios, we got a 5 years contract, so we are okay for 5 years. And then we have, I'm looking already, and I'm keep looking for new places. And the idea is I always have a place and I put a band in there or two, and then I teach 3-4 days. But then because we have a big wait list with students, then I need to fill it up. And if any of the studios, if we couldn't teach in any of the studios anymore for some reasons, then it would be very hard to find something else. So I always need to have a look at another place. That's how I got this 5 places. It was more like done through because I knew it's going to be harder and harder. I know I need to do something.
Are you teaching online at the moment?
It was just what I was going to ask.
Yeah, we have some online students because when this whole craziness started, probably like you guys in London too, we had to really think about new ideas. So we got into the online teaching stuff and we put it on the website, we promoted it. And now we have some students from West Germany or wherever calling in for occasional lessons. But it has shown, obviously, that drumming is something which needs to be done in a room with 2 people or more. And you get that vibe and you get the sound, and you still can't. And I have to say, thanks God, you still can't play online at the same time, because that was, we call it in Germany, you go to the music lesson. It's not that you have music lessons online. It's that kind of thing. And also we making our business with our rooms, having a location. And if everybody could teach from home, that would be also, I think, not an advantage for the music schools in general. So it's a good thing that drumming has to be done in a room, and you can do a completely different lesson. I know we had the last lockdown was 5 months, and it was a really bad lockdown. And the teachers were really the first ones who were saying, "Oh, it's too dangerous. I want to stay home and teach home." They were the first ones who said, "I want to go back to the studios and get everybody in the rooms," because it just feels so different, and it's makes more fun.
I think when you can't play together as well, I think it really changes the dynamic. I teach singing. I don't play drums.
Yeah.
I'm not very good.
Cool.
I'm not very good. But yeah, I've sort of found that I didn't realize how much we sing together in the lessons until you can't do it.
Yeah.
So that's one disadvantage of teaching online. But it was good. It kept us going, didn't it?
It kept us going.
A lot of people did enjoy it, actually, because they sort of moved away, or so they could still keep up with the lessons, which was nice.
Yeah, I think in a way, I mean, I think there is always something positive in anything we do, so there was positive things, because we were thinking about doing Skype lessons for years, but we never did it. Now we had to, to work out the best solutions.
When I first started, you were always saying, we should go on, we should do something online, we should try and do, you know.
And now we got the equipment, we've got video mixers, we can teach from multiple cameras, we can do that. And some people are asking for it, but the other advantage is that now we can make videos because we got the equipment, so we can actually make videos for YouTube and stuff, which is good. So in a way, it has been good, but as you say, nothing replaces physical lessons for drums, and I think maybe for all instruments, because if you want to play together, you still can do it, right? And maybe one day you will. That's the thing. Maybe one day you will, but not at the moment.
Yeah. As long as the internet is so hard to calculate, the time changes. The time differences, then we will be still doing what we do and doing it very well, I guess. It's same here. I had a lot of people said, why don't you do online lessons already 3, 4, 5 years ago? And I said, I think we can try it, but I think it won't be the same as having it in a room, because I think the vibe, the energy in a room is always different. There is a certain energy on the internet, like we're having now. I feel very good with you guys. And it's a nice environment because obviously Allah, and it's nice to see him again, and that's really cool. But there is a certain vibe, but it's not the same as being in a room. Also with the teachers meeting online, there's only one can speak at a time. So you don't have that little crosstalks in between, which kind of like you're feeding off sometimes, because you're here and there, and you get a certain vibe. It is a different dynamic being in a room with the same people or being online,
Yeah, definitely.
Even not playing drums.
So with your teaching then, because you said you sort of had some bad lessons when you were younger. So are you sort of, the way you teach, like what are your teaching methods? Sort of, what's your approach to
Yeah.
teaching?
Well, we have a lot of beginners, and we're selling a dream to them in a way of how it would be to be a drummer, to play in a band. Obviously, some of them reach that point. Some of them will never play in a band. They will just come for entertainment.
Yeah.
And they play at the Planet Drum Party, and they invite their friends and play in front of their fans and family. That's a climax. But the general approach is praxis-oriented learning. We teach a lot with call and response, so they learn in the note system, music system, with rather than giving them a page with all the notes on, they're learning it through call and response. So I'm playing, they play, and we teach with a headset, just a similar thing like I'm having now. So the student has a headset, teacher has a headset, so we can always keep playing. And there's like it's almost like taking them on a journey, and it's always a flow in the lesson. And
so you have a headset during the physical lesson?
yeah.
So you got a headset connected to both to the mixer, so you can hear each other when you talk.
That's right. We can hear each other
when you play.
We hear the drums. We had the drums as well in a way through through there. But now through the pandemic, because of there shouldn't be so many contacts and stuff and hygienic things. We have a microphone on the student drum kit, so we're picking it up with a microphone. But the microphone is also pointed to their face, so you can really hear them when you speak. It's not the way I like it. I like it this way, but the teacher can wear the headset, and but the students usually bring their own headsets along because of the hygienic situation. But I hope this some stage will be over, and then we go back to the physical headsets. I think that's a very good way. I found a very good way, a different way of teaching. You don't have to interrupt the lesson. You don't have to go, okay, now let's play. Student is on his drum kit, teacher is on his drum kit. They can be 3-4 meters apart, but they're still hearing each other and seeing each other. And also we teach with monitors, and we use a software called Evernote. So
what is it, sorry?
Called Evernote, which is like a management software.
How do you spell it?
Management tool. Evernote, like
Evernote.
And the students get their material with Evernote, so they don't forget their music papers anymore. Especially kids, you know.
So is it like teaching management software kind of thing?
Yeah, we use it as a teaching management software. It's actually software for businesses. Evernote it calls. And you know, every student has this login, a little account, and then the teacher has his laptop. He connects the laptop. The laptop's connected to the it's like a visual note music board. You don't use the I'm still an old school man. I'm still using paper, but I do more teachers training. But my teachers, most of them are got into the Evernote and to all this technology stuff. We have a student from, a teacher from Australia, and he did a course in Australia on digital learning, and he brought all his ideas to us. So big up to Matthew, and he's part of the team, and we're very glad he's there. And he introduced us to all this way of learning. Then I got put all the monitors in the studios, equipped it all, and now we're all on this digital. We're in a digital age, but still doing live lessons in the room.
So basically, the software allows you to see what a student has been doing if you don't teach him normally. So you could have access to the student's folder, even if he's not your normal student.
And you can share folders. If you have a teacher coming in who is subbing, you just send him all the material. That's a very good way. And it helped us because we started with it before the pandemic started. And it helped us really through the pandemic because, you know, you didn't have to send stuff back and forth. It was all there already, no? That was really useful. So that's, I guess, is part of the system. But in general, I would just say it's a Planet Drum Berlin is definitely a very practice orientated, and it's all about fun, and it's passion, and it's you know, it's not that typical. There's a lot of music schools here in Berlin still because it's a lot of competition, but I don't think many are doing this practice-oriented way, the way we do it, because I really felt very good the way I was taught myself in America, and I felt that it's a different way. It's more like we're all together, we're a team, and we're all very good friends as well. We had that in London as well, you know, with all our teachers like Frank and stuff, you know, I remember. And I think that kind of vibe I brought this to Berlin. And on the beginning, nobody really knew nobody believed in what I wanted. So it's like they said, okay, I'm doing parties, not just about going to lessons. They were just used to go to lessons and go home.
Yes.
But we kind of like have that kind of vibe, you know, it's more personal. It's more than just drumming. You know, you learn through drumming, you learn to get to know each other, and it's more about sharing, you know, sharing something.
That's right. So do you find most of your students are interested in playing with the bands and they want to come to your parties and play?
Yes, some of them, also most of them are really cool and they really want to play in front of their family and friends and in front of an audience. And most of them have been playing the first time, you know, they ever played. It was always their dream, live up their dream when the party is happening. And but some of them are kind of like saying, no, I don't want, and we don't push them, you know, not, we just ask who wants to play, you know. And trying to find the right songs, obviously, and the band then rehearses the song with them. There's one dress rehearsal, and then they just get to play. You do the same thing, I think, in London, right?
Yeah.
You have all this, it's a very good way, you know.
We have like band workshops twice a month where they can go, and we've got like a list of songs, and then they can sort of practice, learn it in the lesson with the teacher, and then we'll practice it as a band, and then we have usually have a gig in the summer and then in the winter as well.
Yeah.
So
yeah, we just.
But yeah, it's always it's some people just want to come and play and don't want to play in front of anyone. But we do have a good chunk of students who want to sort of play with the band and play with other people. So
yeah, and we sometimes have the same ones who always want to play, and then we have to say, okay, this year, to give the chance to somebody else. But next year again, we do it only once a year, and we had to drop it last year because we came out too late from the lockdown. And the way I usually do it is, it's quite big. So we have about 300 to 400 people on a show. And we used to do it in the Berlin club scene. And
well, that's a lot.
Yeah, it was a big party. It's like an annual party. We used to have this like every 2-3 months, but then it kind of like was always hard to organize it. And then less and less people turned up.
If it's once a year, then it's
a big
gives
thing.
something to look forward to, and
we wanted to have it the exclusive thing. It's like the Planet Drum Party, the annual Planet Drum Party.
Whereas if it's multiple times a year, it will lose that, won't it?
Yeah, that's what we felt over here too. And then we just did it. I remember the first couple of years in Berlin, and the studio, which we still have in Kreuzberg, it's in a basement, and you can fit 80 people in there, you know, if they're like stuck like this. And we used to have the first parties there. We used to have like every 2-3 months parties. But then obviously, we're getting older. We think about, we're gonna have a party, we do it right, rather than just do a little one. You know, it's always a lot to organize as well.
Yeah.
It can get crazy. Yeah.
Good. We're actually almost running out of time, so I'm gonna have to wrap it up soon. Unfortunately, I mean, we could carry on, we could go for days. One final question. Is there anything that you're working on at the moment, either with Planet Drama, or have you got any gigs coming up, or anything that you've got coming up in the future?
Yeah, with gigs at the moment, everything is closed up, and I think everything's going to start again in April, May. I'm playing in a band with Pax Nicholas. He's a Afrobeat. He was the percussionist of Fela Kuti, the old band in the 70s. He lives in Berlin, and we did an album a couple of years ago, Afrobeat, and I had to get used to all this way of playing. I'm not Tony Allen, but I got from my own style of playing it. I'm more heavy than Tony Allen is, obviously. But so I'm now his drummer, and we did a nice little tour in West Germany in October. So we're going to do some more, I think, in the summer.
Nice.
So everything is based on the summer now. So
hopefully it will all be opened up by then.
Louis playing with a band called Africa Bawantu here.
Yeah.
And again, I think this guy, the djembe player, who is actually he's the MC, he's the leader of the band. So in the setup, you've got djembes at the front, and behind him you got everyone else. You got the horns, the drums, and the bass. And
Amazing.
they play Afrobeat. So I think you'd like that. I'll send you some
tracks.
At the
Jazz Cafe,
that would be really
tonight.
nice.
They play the Jazz Cafe. Tonight. Is it tonight?
Yeah.
They're playing at the Jazz Cafe tonight. Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
That would be nice. Yeah, I know he sent me something where he saw that I must have sent him some recording we did on the old days on Facebook before Insta, and then he he replied to it, and he sent me some stuff. I think what he was doing. So it's say
Okay.
hello to Luis, or
Yeah,
Luis,
yeah,
if you hear this.
I'll make
Nice
sure to
guy,
send it to
really
him.
nice guy. Yeah, great stuff. Yeah, I mean, we should really think about some more collaboration between Berlin and London, you know, so it would be really cool.
Yeah,
There's a
yeah,
lot
yeah.
more we can do as a
I mean, we can still talk, you know, and do stuff, you know. At the moment, I think we've all got the same thing, that we're really trying to kind of make sure things are keep growing, you know, because we had a bit of a gap. We had a difficult year.
Yeah.
So at the moment, you know, we're trying to keep things afloat, but you know, it's not too bad. I think things will get back to normal. You know,
I think everybody's gonna get crazy as soon as everybody's allowed to get crazy again. That's what I said already. I'm always so optimistic. 2 years ago, so positive 2 years ago when it started, I said, "Oh, it's gonna be 2-3 months," and then I always said to my teachers, "Yeah, I think in summer it's all gonna be over." Start again. Are we still in it? Yeah, I guess we have to start living with it. It's going to become like a cold. It's going to be changed like a cold virus, whatever, like a flu virus now. And it's probably changing to an end, and it's going to become endemic now. So I think I still believe we are over the whole thing.
Yeah,
I think a lot of people wanting to just start doing things again. So
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
and we're going to
excellent.
be entertaining them. Yes.
Thank you so much for coming on our podcast. I will if you send me, I'll put like the Planet Drum Berlin website and like the links and stuff, so if anyone wants to check them out, they can check it out there. But yeah, thank you again, and we'll speak to you soon.
If you have any links to your music as well,
okay, yeah,
send it.
I send it.
Be good to listen to that. Yeah.
Cool. Nice.
Okay.
Alain?
Well, say hello to Sokari and everyone else.
I will.
And
You too.
you take care. Yeah.
Take care, guys. Bye.